Good day and welcome to Mlc TV News Hour. I am Sharifat Mohammed. The headlines. Vice President OSNBAJO heads to Accra for the ECOWAS Extraordinary Summit. ANAMBRA election, INEC fixes date for supplementary election in IHIALA local government area. Now the news in detail. Vice President OSNBAJO is representing Nigeria at the Economic Community of West African States ECOWAS Third Extraordinary Summit, which is now taking place in Accra, Ghana. His spokesman, Laolu Akonde, said in a statement that the meeting is to assess the political situation in Guinea and Mali in light of past resolutions. Recall that on September 16, the Vice President spoke at the second ECOWAS Extraordinary Summit on a similar topic in Accra, Ghana's capital, where he expressed Nigeria's view on the military involvement in Mali. During the previous meeting, ECOWAS leaders had in a communique issued at the end of the summit, amongst other resolutions, decided to freeze the financial assets of members of the military junta and place a travel ban on them, while also demanding that the junta return Guinea to constitutional rule within 6 months. The VP stated Nigeria's position on the issue, urging President Alpha Conde's unconditional release and increased pressure on the country's military authorities to return the country to democracy. OSNBAJO praised the efforts of all stakeholders in the country, Mali, emphasizing the importance of adhering to the electoral calendar for the transition to civil rule. The former military head of state, Ibrahim Babangida, said in an interview with newsmen that the trajectory that the nation is traveling is based on the ability of young people to connect and work for the nation's common interest. He said Nigeria has a bright chance of coming out of its current challenges, but beyond all sentiments, citizens must be ready to organize themselves, especially the youth who understand what the nation is going through, to be able to wrest power from the old order. Babangida referred to the Kogi State Governor that the young Governor Bello understands that for any meaningful development to take place, security must be addressed and it should go together with infrastructural development. He is doing that perfectly in Kogi State as we speak. It is said that some persons are still bent on taking us to time past where recycled leaders that had dragged us back has continued to be the major political players in the country. We should go beyond that and move on. Governor Bello has shown that youth can do far better, and realistically is the hope we have for a better tomorrow as a people. He enjoined the youth to realize that many of their colleagues across the nation are being kidnapped from their campuses, dorms and homes, noting that if Governor Bello becomes president, he will address the situation head-on. The Speaker of Kogi State House of Assembly, Prince Matthew Kolawole, said that he is not contesting for the governorship of the state in 2023. This was contained in a press statement issued by the Chief Press Secretary, Femi Olubemi, noted that Prince Matthew Kolawole is not nursing any governorship ambition, nor have any intention to run for the governorship position in 2024. In the statement, he said their attention has been drawn to an opinion being expressed by some youth posted on several media platforms. In their analysis, they said the House of Representatives position, which the Speaker has not officially declared to run for, is too small for him, urging him to contest for the governorship considering his connections across the state. He distanced himself from the purported news that whatever is being expressed on the social media on his governorship ambition has nothing to do with him, but rather the creation of distractors mischievously trying to cause unnecessary disharmony among the ranks of the party in the state, and also to distract him from carrying out his constitutional responsibility of making laws to promote good governance in the state and provide the right leadership for the legislative arm of government in the state. The Speaker is only committed to the realization of the presidential aspiration of Governor Bello come 2023. He urged the youth to join hands in supporting GYB to PYB movement that will give the country a youthful leadership that is determined to confront the menace of insecurity and other challenges in the country, with the force it deserves for Nigeria to take its rightful position on the continent. The Speaker of the Imo State House of Assembly, Paul Emeziem, has been impeached, replaced with the Deputy Speaker, Kennedy Ibe. 19 out of the 27 lawmakers signed the impeachment papers. This development comes barely 2 weeks after lawmakers in the Plateau State House of Assembly impeached the Speaker, Abok Ayuba. Members of the Imo State House of Assembly had impeached the Deputy Speaker, Amara Anyanwu, during a plenary session on November 2, 2021. Anyanwu has now been reinstated as the Deputy Speaker of the House. The impeachment of the Speaker was done amidst tight security. Kebbi State Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu has reassured investors of his administration's support to carry out their legitimate business in the state. The governor made the remarks at the opening ceremony of a hotel edifice, Nugget Continental Hotel and Tours in Bini Kebbi. According to the statement signed by Special Advisor on Media Yahaya Sarki, congratulated the proprietor of the hotel and also acknowledged the pace within which the project was completed within a span period of 2 years. He urged spirited individuals in the state to emulate him while reassuring the proprietor the state government's unwavering commitment to supporting the establishment of private business investment in the state. According to the statement, it is consistent with the governor's view that private sectors should lead the development and the role of government is to help private sectors make profit. He assured him that government will assist him in whatever way possible to ensure that he is richly rewarded. Bagudu also charged the proprietor of the hotel to consider sons and daughters of the state for employment in his hotel, while also thanking him for the corporate social responsibility he has been providing. At the event, the chairman of the Federal Road Safety Commission, who is the chairman of the board of directors of the hotel, Buhari Bello, described the opening of the hotel in Bini Kebbi as a great milestone and progress for the people, the government of Kebbi State, society and Nigeria at large. He explained that the hospitality industry was a multi-trillion industry all over the world. According to him, the tourism industry has the power to sustain more countries than oil or solid minerals, which majority of countries depend on tourism for sustenance and increased GDP. The Federal University of Health Science, Otupo in Benue State, has finally taken off with a total of 230 students who participated in its maiden matriculation at its temporary site in Otada, Otupo local government area of the state. Minister for Education Adamu, represented by the permanent secretary in the ministry, Sonny Echono, said its establishment was part of efforts to reverse the brain drain in the education and health sector. Established to bridge the huge gap in the medical field, the Federal University of Health Science, Otupo Benue State, has taken its first step towards attaining its set objective. Over 200 pioneer students are here inducted into specialized health science courses to kickstart the unending educational journey for countless sessions to come. This is a feat the representative of the Minister for Education says was strategically inspired, following this maiden matriculation ceremony officially declaring the beginning of a new dawn. The Federal University of Health Science, Otupo, has joined the League of Universities across the country to deliver education to the country's teeming population. The Niger State Commissioner of Education, Hannah Tujebe Salihu, has inaugurated a committee for the repositioning of private school board aimed at regulating and sanitizing private schools in the state. Inaugurating the committee, the commissioner said the ministry was concerned about the lack of regulation and proliferation of private schools in the state. The commissioner explained that this has affected the quality of education in the state. She mentioned that the objective of the committees, among others, is to rationalize and sanitize the operations of private schools, to streamline monitoring processes, grading the private school for relevant charges required to be paid as corporate citizens of the state. According to her, the terms of reference of the committee include to review the current processes and practice of the private schools board with a view to identifying operational gaps and challenges. The commissioner also mandated the committee to identify the quantum of revenue generated and the purpose for which it was effectively and efficiently expended in the last 2 years of the private school board operation. Speaking on behalf of the committee members, Jibril Al-Khali promised that they would leave nothing to chance in ensuring that the task before them is accomplished. The Kwara State striking medical doctors have suspended their industrial action during the weekend. Chairman of the National Association of Government General Medical and Dental Practitioners, Dr. Saka Abuola, disclosed this after an emergency congress of the members. The doctors commenced the 7-day warning strike last week Monday due to poor condition of service and remuneration. Abuola said the doctors decided to suspend the strike due to the favorable disposition of the state government to negotiate with them. He also acknowledged the suffering that patients went through due to this warning strike. He denied that they were intimidated to suspend the strike. Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello has congratulated the Emir of Argungu, His Royal Highness Samaila Mohammed Mera, on his 25th anniversary on the throne of his forefathers. The governor, represented by the Sarki Yakin and Kogi State Commissioner for Solid Minerals and Natural Resources, Engineer Abubakar Bashir Gegu, extolled the leadership prowess of the traditional ruler. The governor said the Emir of Argungu is worth all the accolades because of his numerous contributions to the development of his host domain, state and country at large. He prayed to God for continued guide, protection, more wisdom and understanding, sound health, long life and prosperity for the Emir to continue to provide leadership to his people. The occasion featured a historical fishing festival where fishermen across the state explored their talents at the most colorful event. His Royal Highness Samaila Mohammed Merah clocked 25 years on the throne of his forefathers. He was appointed on November 4, 1996, after the demise of his father, Emir Muhammadu Merah, on October 19, 1996. The late Emir reigned for 37 years. The event brought together some serving and former governors, representatives of northern governors, ministers, politicians, and business moguls, both Muslim and Christian clerics, entertainers, and people from all walks of life. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has fixed Tuesday, November 9th, for a supplementary election in IHIALA local government area of Anambra State. The Saturday's governorship election returning officer in the state, Professor Florence Obi, announced this in the early hours of today, 8 November 2021. Professor Obi said the decision to hold supplementary election in IHIALA local government area follows the failure of INEC to conduct election in the area on Saturday. The INEC returning officer said this failure was due to security challenges, which made it impossible for the electoral body to deploy materials and personnel in the local government area. Professor Obi explained that the collation of results could not be concluded and a winner declared without election in the local government area. Because that IHIALA is the only one of Anambra's 21 local government areas where election could not hold. Meanwhile, results were announced for all other local government areas, with the candidate of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, Charles Soludo, winning in 18 of the 20 local government areas for which results were declared. If you are just joining us, this is Mlc TV News. More stories to come after this break. Do stay with us.
Mlc TV Online is here. For your timely and reliable news that reaches you fast with the breaking news, choose Mlc TV. Get human interest stories right here on Mlc TV with entertainment, sports, business, culture, tourism, and fashion news stories all featured on Mlc TV. Not forgetting political and current affairs news, state and federal government and people's matters will be discussed regularly on Mlc TV. Mlc TV, your one-stop online destination for unbiased, accurate news, entrepreneur ideas, and youth matters to the rest of the world. Mlc TV, reaching everywhere, informing everyone.
Welcome back. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has visited the site of the building that collapsed in Ikoyi a few days ago. Sanwo-Olu was in the company of his predecessor, Bola Tinubu, and Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule. He confirmed that as of 6 p.m. on Saturday, the death toll had risen to 42. 15 injured persons are receiving treatment at the police hospital in Palomo. He said the government had taken the full records of survivors in the incident, and this gives a total of 15 people rescued alive and a total of 42 bodies have been recovered. Among the latest survivors are 38-year-old Glory Samson, Ndajo Ahmed, Yunusa Abubakar, Ajiboye Habib, Jeremiah Samson, and another male identified as MM. Most of them sustained varying degrees of injury. Samson, 20 years old, is in a coma. Sanwo-Olu announced that 49 families had filled the missing persons register as of Saturday morning. The document is helping the government to reconcile the details of victims rescued alive and medically account for corpses recovered. The Lagos helmsman said identification of bodies by relatives had commenced, adding that DNA examination was being undertaken on those whose identity are unknown yet. Sanwo-Olu disclosed there is a sum of money that has been reserved for succor and to give befitting burial for those who died in the incident. Families that so wish to accept are being supported for the burial arrangements. Survivors in hospitals have been given financial support. It was observed that the impact of the building collapse affected Lateef's left eye, chest, back, and right leg. The 32-year-old artisan said he never believed he could have another shot at life after he found himself trapped in the rubble. He said it was God's mercy that he survived. He begged God for mercy because he thought the end had come. Lateef said he had concluded he would die and decided to say final prayers so that he would make heaven. Recounting his horrendous experience under the debris, Lateef said he was in a bent position for several hours and became so weak that he nearly passed out. He added there was a lighter with him. He turned it on and saw dead bodies everywhere. Bricks had fallen on some people and they were struggling to breathe. It was a horrible way to die and don't wish it for his enemies. His correspondent also entered another ward where Odutun and 3 other survivors were admitted. Surprisingly, one would hardly notice Odutun was a victim as there was no visible mark of injuries on his body. It was the grace of God, he said, beaming with excitement. Odutun, who resides in the Agege area of the state, said he started working at the site 4 weeks ago as a laborer, adding that he and few others were eating in the backyard of the building where the tragedy struck. He recounted they were all confused and ran to hide somewhere. He hid near a container. Everywhere was cloudy and dark. They couldn't see anything. He heard the sound of something crashing towards the spot where he hid and shifted his body. A brick fell on his right hand and struggled to pull it off and came out himself. It was just God that saved him. Everything happened within seconds. The governor of Kogi State, Yahaya has commiserated with families of the victims of recent building collapse in Ikoyi, Lagos State, in which over 40 lives were lost. The governor also commiserated with Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the government and people of Lagos State, over the unfortunate incident in which life of promising Nigerians were lost. Bello, in a statement issued on Monday by his chief press secretary, Onugu Mohammed, sympathized with family of the victims and prayed to God to grant the victim eternal rest. He also prayed for quick recovery and healing for survivors of the unfortunate incident. Governor Bello, while describing the event in Lagos as a national tragedy, commended the efforts taken so far by the Lagos State government in getting to the roots of the unfortunate incident to avoid any of such incidents in the nearest future. The governor urged developers and operators in the built environment to ensure they use standard materials and thoroughbred professionals in handling all building construction in the country to avoid plugging the country into tragedies caused by building collapse. Similarly, the governor also commiserated with families of the victims of the kerosene explosion in Kubwa area of the Federal Capital Territory, which also led to loss of lives. In the wake of the night fire, which claimed at least 6 lives at the Kubwa ultra-modern market, Minister of State in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Amatu Tijani Aliyu, has banned the sale of flammable products in undesignated areas of the territory. The minister announced the ban when she visited the market over the weekend. Special Assistant on Media to the Minister, Austin Elume, in a statement said about 10 people who sustained various degrees of injuries are receiving treatment at the Kubwa General Hospital and National Hospital, both in Abuja. The minister, who visited the scene alongside the FCT Director of Fire Service, Sani Saidu, among other top management staff of FCT Emergency Management Agency, also warned traders not to sell highly inflammable material in an undesignated area, in line with global best practices, while commending the FCT Fire Service and other critical stakeholders for their proactive steps in containing the inferno. The minister, however, lamented the high rates of casualties recorded, even as she expressed concern at the frequent fire outbreaks in major markets across the territory. Aliyu pledged that the FCT administration would see how best to assist the victims, adding that the FCT Development Control Department will be directed to remove all shanties along the road corridors to pave way for emergency operations. A trader, Obilo Chidinma, who lost her 16-year-old son and a daughter who is still in critical condition, was taken to Kubwa General Hospital on the orders of the FCT Minister of State. Meanwhile, the chairman of Buhari Area Council, John Gabaya, has given a 24-hour ultimatum to roadside traders along Kubwa Market Road to vacate the area. Gabaya gave the ultimatum when he visited the scene of the kerosene tank explosion near the Kubwa main market to condole with the victims. He said petty traders who cannot afford to pay for shops should make use of the free open space inside the Kubwa modern market. According to him, the free open market space is a policy intervention to support petty traders who cannot afford the exorbitant rents being charged by commercial property owners and threatening to sanction any market official demanding payment for the open spaces. Bandits have appointed their members to head some villages in Sabon local government area of Sokoto State. According to a Sokoto-based media, the new terrorist village heads were reportedly acting on the orders of one of the most notorious bandits, Troje. According to the report, the bandits first summoned the Gangara villagers to a crucial meeting in Saturu village on Thursday to announce the deposition of the existing head of the villages and posting of some of their members as the new ward heads. In attendance at the meeting were 5 Toriji commanders, namely Dan Bakwalo, Boka Tamiske, Hassan Dankwaro, Dogo, and Jamu Baki. The new strongmen then asked Gagara villagers to select one from the 5 bandit commanders to serve as their village head. The villagers selected Dan Bakwalo, after which they were given some conditions by their new ruler. Dan Bakwalo said no police officer, military personnel or vigilante group members would be allowed henceforth in the village. He implored his subject that all disputes must be brought to him for adjudication. The villagers had to contribute and pay the sum of 1.5 million naira tribute to him. Dan Bakwalo also ordered the immediate reopening of 3 Jumat mosques and resumption of weekly Tuesday market activities in Gangara village. Similarly, at Makwarua village, bandit commander Boka Tamiske declared himself the new district head and summoned a meeting where he asked the ousted district head, one Dansani, to tell the villagers by himself who was now in charge. Dansani told the people there that Boka was now the new head of the village. The villagers had no option but to obey these bandits. One of the villagers told the journalist, "They are now in charge and every case or dispute must be reported to them." Meanwhile, 85 villages in Bokosowa in Gatawa ward have been taxed 300,000 naira each for not farming enough food that the bandits could use. The villagers were given an ultimatum to contribute the money or face the wrath of the gunmen. When contacted by journalists, the spokesman for the Sokoto State Police Command, ASP Sanusi Abubakar, said he would make some findings about the development and revert back. Now to our foreign news. Tens of thousands of Ethiopians rallied in Addis Ababa on Sunday to support Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's government as federal troops fight rebellious forces threatening to march on the capital. Some demonstrators denounced the United States, one of the foreign powers that have called for a ceasefire to a year-long war, which has intensified amid advances by rebellious forces in the past week. The United Nations Security Council, the African Union, and Kenya and Uganda have also called for a ceasefire in the conflict that has killed thousands of people. Canada, calling the situation in Ethiopia rapidly evolving and deteriorating, has withdrawn the families of its embassy staff. The Foreign Ministry said on Sunday its embassy remains open in the capital.
Abiy's government, which had pledged to keep fighting, said on Friday it had a responsibility to secure the country and urge foreign powers to stand with Ethiopia's democracy. The state-appointed Ethiopian Human Rights Commission said the authority appeared to be using a state of emergency declared to arrest people based on ethnic identity. In a statement, the commission said in some police stations, the families are denied access to the detainees and they can't deliver food and clothing. On top of that, elders and mothers with children are among the detainees. Government spokesperson Legay Tolu and Federal Police spokesperson Jailan Abdi did not immediately respond to Reuters' request for comment. Police spokesperson Fasika Fante denied that arrests were ethnically motivated, saying those detained directly or indirectly backed the Tigray People Liberation Front, an outlawed party that was once part of Ethiopia's government and is now battling federal forces. Some of those gathered for the rally in Maskel Square in Addis Ababa draped themselves in the national flag. U.S. President Joe Biden's administration on Tuesday accused Ethiopia of gross violation of human rights and said it plans to remove the country from a U.S. trade pact.
Iraqi Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi escaped unharmed from an armed drone assassination attempt in Baghdad, officials said on Sunday, in an incident that raised tension in Iraq weeks after a general election dispute by Iraq-backed militia groups. Kadhimi appeared in a video footage published by his office on Sunday, chairing a meeting with top security commanders to discuss the drone attack, the cowardly terrorist attack that targeted the home of the Prime Minister last night with the aim of assassinating him. Is a serious targeting of the Iraqi state by criminal armed groups, his office said in a statement after the meeting. Security sources told Reuters that 6 of Kadhimi's guards outside his residence in the fortified green zone were wounded. 3 drones were used in the attack, including 2 that were downed by security forces, while a 3rd drone hit the residence. State news agency quoted an Interior Ministry spokesperson as saying a spokesperson for the Armed Forces Commander-in-Chief said that after the attack, the security situation was stable in the Green Zone, which houses the residents, government buildings, and foreign embassies. No group immediately claimed responsibility. The attack came 2 days after clashes in Baghdad between government forces and supporters of Iran-backed political parties that lost dozens of parliamentary seats after an October 10 general election. At least 99 people were killed and more than 100 injured in the capital of Sierra Leone late on Friday when a fuel tanker exploded following a collision, local authorities said. The accident occurred in a busy street in the capital, Freetown. According to eyewitnesses, many people rushed to the tanker to siphon off petrol after. According to witnesses, many people rushed to the tanker to siphon off petrol after the collision with containers. Shortly afterwards, the truck exploded. They said some surrounding shops and cars caught fire. Staff at a hospital near the accident site confirmed on Saturday that rescue workers had brought in 80 bodies during the night. A local television station spoke of 400 victims on Saturday morning. A government spokesperson said President Julian Maada Bio, who was attending the COP26 UN Climate Change Conference in Glasgow, is expected in Freetown shortly. Due to the tragic accident, Bio had cancelled a planned trip to a meeting of the West African Economic Community ECOWAS in Ghana. Over to Aliu Nasiru on Sport Today.
Welcome to Sports Update. The Nigerian Football Federation has invited Enyimba's goalkeeper John Noble as a replacement for Francis Uzoho in the Super Eagles squad for this month's 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifier against Liberia and Cape Verde. Uzoho featured in the Cypriot club UEFA's Conference League encounter against Swiss club Basel on Thursday night, but missed out on Sunday against Ethnics due to illness. Noble was first invited to the Super Eagles in March 2021 African Cup of Nations qualifier against Benin and Lesotho. He is, however, yet to make an appearance for the three-time African champions. Maduka Okoye and Daniel Akpeyi are the other goalkeepers in the squad for the qualifiers. The Super Eagles will face the Lone Stars in Tangla, Morocco on Saturday, and then host the Blue Sharks in their final group game in the qualifier next week. In the EPL, Newcastle New Saudi-led regime have finally appointed their first manager. Eddie Howe have signed a 2.5-year deal to take over at St. James Park. The 43-year-old had been out of job since leaving Bournemouth following their relegation from the Premier League 2 seasons ago, but after talks progressed last week and he watched their draw at Brighton from the stands, Howe was officially confirmed on Monday. Howe said it is a great honor to become head coach of a club with the status and history of Newcastle United. It is a very proud day for him and his family. He also said it is a wonderful opportunity for him, but there are a lot of work ahead of him and he is eager to get onto the training pitch to start working with the players. After watching on at Brighton's Amex Stadium on Saturday, Howe will now walk towards his first game in charge, a home game against Brentford on November 20, following the international break. That is Sports Update. I'm Aliu Nasiru reporting for Mlc TV.
Thank you, Aliu, for the update. Now we go over to Matthias Ayodeji for entertainment news.
On our foreign entertainment news today, at least 8 people have died after a mass casualty event at Travis Scott Astroworld Festival in Houston. The festival, which kicks off on Friday, November 5th, 2021 in Austin, was cut short after panic broke out when the crowd surged towards the concert stage. According to a statement released by Austin Fire Chief Sam Penner, at least 8 people had been confirmed dead. He said 8 confirmed fatalities, and we had scores of individuals that were injured here at the event. We had an attendance of approximately 50,000 to the Travis Scott Astroworld Festival event. What we do know is that at approximately 9:15, the crowd began to compress towards the front of the stage, and that caused some panic and it started causing some injuries. People began to fall out, become unconscious, and it created additional panic. According to TMZ, someone in the crowd reportedly went crazy and began injecting people with some sort of drugs, which caused panic and then a surge. Travis Scott later released a statement where he expressed his sadness over the incident. He said, "I am absolutely devastated by what took place last night. My prayers goes out to the families and all those impacted by what happened at Astroworld Festival." Among those confirmed dead is a 10-year-old child. The festival had been cancelled. In Africa, Nigeria star Kizz Daniel announced Barnabas. It will be released on a soon-to-be-announced date in November 2021. On November 11, 2021, it was confirmed as an EP, and it will be released on Empire and Flyboy Inc. The EP, which comes 2 months after Kizz Daniel's released fan-favorite song Lie, will house 7 tracks that will leave listeners with bated breath, longing for more. Producers like Blaze Beats, Reward Beats, Young John, Rock Legion, Phil Case, and Koblon are renowned talents who worked tirelessly to see that the incredible body of work is worth the Kizz Daniel's caliber of artistry. It will be a follow-up on his 2020 effort, King of Love, which has since amassed over 73 million listings on Audiomack, 19 million listings on Apple Music, 8.5 million listings on Spotify, 56,000 listings on YouTube, and 2,000 listings on iTunes. King of Love cemented Kizz Daniel as one of the best singers in the Nigerian music in recent time, with Pack and Go, a single of the album, amassing 9.9 million views on YouTube. In 2021, he has released 3 singles, Flex, Currently, and the hit record Lie. Word on the street said Barnabas is a precursor to Daniel's 5th studio album. And that is all on entertainment news today. My name is Matthias Ayodeji Peter, reporting for Mlc TV.
Thank you, Matthias, for the updates. And that's today's news package. Join us tomorrow via the same channel. For sponsorship and advert placement, call the numbers displayed on your screen. Or visit our social media handles, Facebook at Mlc TV, Instagram Mlc TV 2021, YouTube Mlc Tv. I am Sherifat Mohammed. Thanks for staying with us.